Carlitos Alcaraz, the 1 seed, takes on Sasha Zverev. Jeremy, I think the big question here is, can Sasha serve well enough to take down Carlos? Because last time they played back in 2024, Sasha got legitimately 85% first serves in against Carlitos and took him out in 4 sets. Zverev is one of those guys that can become unplayable like that. Do you think we're going to see a version of that kind of Zverev tonight against Carlitos?
I hope so. Yeah, I hope that we see the best that Sasha has to offer. And I think Zverev has to be thinking, why not now? When is he going to have a better opportunity against either Alcaraz or Sinner? The odds are really, really, really high that he's, in order to get to another slam final, he's going to have to get through either Sinner or Alcaraz. So right here, same spot that 2 years ago he took Alcaraz out in the quarters.
Yeah.
He has to be feeling pretty decent about his chances. I mean, Alcaraz has looked incredible this tournament, like especially dialed in, looking for that maiden Aussie Open title. But I don't know. I think, we can expect Zverev to serve really well. He's been doing that all tournament. I feel bad for Zverev. Like, I mean, I'm maybe his game matches up better against Alcaraz than Sinner. I feel like he hasn't played against Sinner in a quarter or semi of a slam yet.
They played in the finals.
I feel
the finals last year.
Oh, of the AO was against Sinner.
Yeah, last year Zverev played Sinner in the
forget.
finals. Yeah, and Alcaraz lost to Djokovic last year after he pulled his hammy.
Got it.
But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
Zverev's head-to-head against Alcaraz is surprisingly 6-6. A lot of those wins for Sasha came early in Carlitos' career when he was like 17, 18, 19. So he's obviously a different player now than he was back then when Sasha was racking up wins. But a fast hard court here at the AO, and then like the Roland Garros clay, I think are Zverev's best chances to get Carlitos out, because he could grind on the clay with the best of them, and then he could serve with the best of them here at the Australian Open. So if he, like, to put in perspective, Sasha, who is a flexible 6'6" with like perfect service technique, spot serving at over like 130 miles an hour. If he hits like 80% of those first serves in, that's in a service game, he's hitting 4 out of 5 first serves in. So like he's gonna win.
Quick maths.
Yeah. So I was thinking through this today how I was gonna phrase it, but if he wins like a lot of those he's gonna win a lot of those first service points because of how well he serves, and Carlitos and maybe Yannick are probably the two best guys in the world who could probably get that ball back in play and get back to neutral somehow. So I wouldn't put it past him, but if Zverev doesn't crumble under the pressure and plays free and loose and says, I'm going to go for it, why not? Why not now? Like you said, I think he's one of those guys who his best tennis is like unplayable. Similar to Alcaraz and Sinner, it's not quite as unplayable as those guys sometimes, but his combination of, his serve and then his length and endurance on defense and just his ball machine consistency, like Zverev's got it all.
Zverev, yeah.
Like on paper, he's got it all. He's got the physics behind him, but as we've said many times in his career, it's the mentals, and no one's better under pressure than Carlitos, because any sense of danger, he just goes for it all, and with no fear, and always will be the one to be the aggressor. And against a guy like Zverev, that's a dangerous combination, because it's like, who do you want to trust in the big points? And it's like, it's probably going to be world number 1 Carlos Alcaraz.
Yeah, so this is going to be the test. Is at some point it's just going to get. Yeah, I would be very surprised if it was one-way traffic and if Alcaraz were to win in straight sets. I think there's like a 1% chance that Zverev wins in straight sets. I think there's no way.
Yeah, no way.
Less than 1% chance. But I'm hoping for like it to reach that 3-hour threshold in the 4th set. Someone's going to be down 2-1 and have a chance to show their tenacity and just let the crazy points just begin. 40-shot rallies of
Ah,
the highest order the sport has to offer. Zverev's right there. I I really think that he's going to have another chance to just try to outgrid Alcaraz. He's I I think that's the only time he beat him at a slam up to now.
I think he beat him one time at Roland Garros like 3 years ago when Alcaraz was like 19. If my
Okay,
memory serves, but he did
right.
lose. Obviously, he's lost all the recent head-to-heads with Alcaraz. The total is set at 37 and a half, 38 and a half games. I'm taking the over because I do want to root for this to be a better match. I think out of the two matches tonight, this has the best chance to be an absolute blockbuster. And I think a lot of people, are down on Zverev in general. It's really easy to like bash him when slam time comes around. So like I'm rooting for Sasha to get one because like if he somehow gets one, that would take such a burden off of him where now instead of the narrative every time Grand Slam time comes around, instead of it being a burden for him, it would be more of a celebration. Be like, "Oh, he finally got over the hump. Let's see what else he can do." There's never going to be that I never won a slam question in the back of his mind. So I want him to get one. I
Hmm.
think he's one of those guys where if he figures it out, he can be matching, going blow for blow in quarterfinals, in semifinals with Sinner and Alcaraz because I think Zverev has every tool in his arsenal
Hmm.
to battle with the best of them, and he's an all-court player except for grass. And I think
Hmm.
I'm excited to see what Sasha can do if Carlitos steamrolls him, it's like, okay, just TMG. Zverev might not have that A+ gear that Alcaraz has. I don't think it's just an interesting stylistic
Yeah, at
matchup
least he
because,
didn't.
yeah,
Yeah, we'll say he didn't on this occasion. I think that he's shown time and again he does have that ability to play at the highest level the game has to offer. Like I said, just before, like he can match Alcaraz and he can match Sinner. Just when it matters most, is he gonna have the be tenacious enough to go for it? Like Alcaraz and Sinner when they're clashing, what makes it so classic every time is that it's just they're just one upping each other, and it's like,
yeah,
how much better can it get? And Zverev, I think he's gonna come out swinging. I think I think it's possible that Alcaraz might even start slow. Maybe Zverev takes the first set, puts some pressure on.
yeah.
But at some point, we know that Carlitos uh, is gonna turn on the burners, you know, go Mach 11, and like Zverev is gonna have the opportunity to match him, and his serve is gonna, as always, play a huge role. And if he can, be unplayable on his serve as often as possible, that's only gonna help him. Duh. My prediction is Alcaraz in 5 sets.
uh,
I really think that it's going to be another classic. I do think it's going to be another classic, and I would not be upset at all. I'm not putting any money on this match, obviously. I would not be upset if Zverev took him out and had a chance for his first slam against, the winner of Sinner Djokovic. But my prediction is Alcaraz in 5 sets.
you took the words right out of my mouth, Jeremy. I think I tweeted Alcaraz in five. I'm on the over. Same thoughts. I'm not gonna just reiterate everything you said. But Sasha,
If
he
you
has
if you tweeted it earlier, then you get the credit. I'm riding on your coattails then.
no, it's
All
okay. We
good.
can both take credit. We're in this together. But, final
Word.
point on this one is, Sasha has taken care of business this slam. He is the third number 3 seed here. He hasn't really been tested that much, and he's been taking care of business in 3 or 4 sets the past couple of rounds. And he has earned this chance to go against Carlos. Tonight is going to be interesting. It starts at like 10:30, and it's going to be really fun to see if Sasha can bring it tonight. And, he is an interesting case because he's like 28, 29 years old. I think I texted you earlier the other day. I'm addicted to listening to press conferences because I love hearing what the players
Hmm.
say after the matches. And in one of Sasha's press conferences, I think after he like routine Sarundalo, the reporter asked him, you have played and battled toe to toe with the great ones, two generations of dominant players. You went against Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, and then now you're going up
Dominic
against
Thiem.
Dominic Thiem, Stan Wawrinka. Not really Stan, prime Stan, but he was a little after that. But, they asked, like, what's the difference? Like, it felt so hard to win a slam back then when you had to go through Nadal and Djokovic. And do you feel the same way now that it's Alcaraz and Sinner? And, Sasha's, what is he going to say? I don't think I can beat these guys. He's like, obviously, I think I can hang and my best tennis, is there. But he said, obviously, like, the conditions have changed. He said back in the day, it was kind of expected for the first three slams where Djokovic was going to win the AO, Nadal was going to win the French, and then Wimbledon was going to be either Novak or Roger. And then the U.S. Open was kind of a toss-up where anybody could get that one. He's like, and now, like, Sinner and Alcaraz are there every single slam on all four surfaces, or at all four slams, fighting for the title. And it's a lot less obvious who's going to win each one. And it's going to be interesting to see if Zverev is just that guy that always loses to them in the semifinals and can never get over that hump. I think he's just way too talented of a player for that to happen.
Is he going to be the next Tomas Berdych? Is he just the new Berdych or Tsonga who just loses
I was gonna
every
say,
time?
Yeah, like Monfils just like gets there and plays great, and then it's just like just not that guy. Zverev,
David Ferrer.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. So I think Zverev Alcaraz is probably going to be the best match tonight, but my expectations are not very high for Sinner and Djokovic, unfortunately.